Trig homework 5 starts off with solving a linear equation with several occurrences of the variables on both sides, and fractional coefficients. We know that whenever we have fractions in our equation that we could subtract the x and add the 4/3, but then we end up having to add and subtract fractions, and then we have to get rid of our coefficient by multiplying by the reciprocal, and there's a lot of room for error. So another way to solve this problem is to get rid of the fractions first. And in fact, when we have variables in the denominator, we have to get rid of the fractions first, so it's just a good practice to do. So in this case, I have denominators with 3's and 4's. My least common multiple is going to be 12. I'm going to multiply each term by that least common multiple to eliminate my fraction. So I'm going to multiply by 12 here, by 12 here, even times the x, even though there's not a fraction, but every term has to be multiplied by that 12. The ones with the fractions, I'm going to do some canceling. These should all go in evenly, otherwise you have the wrong common denominator. 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times 7x would be 28x. 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times negative 4 is minus 16 equals 12 times x, 12x, and 4 goes into 12, 3 times 3 plus 9. I now have gotten rid of my fractions. When I multiply by the common denominator, I'm always going to use a positive value, so the signs in front of each of your terms should be the same as they originally were. None of those should change until this step. Now I want to go ahead and solve my equation for x. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract my 12x to move that to the left side, and add my 16 to move it to the right side. Doesn't matter which side you move which things to, just as long as you move them to opposite sides. I usually move the variable to the left and the number to the right. So 28 minus 12 would be 16x. 9 plus 16 would give me 25. I can then go ahead and divide. And if I have 25/16, I don't believe I can reduce that down. So 25/16 is just going to be my answer. So in number 2, if I look at my denominators, I've got a 3, a 2, and a 6. My least common multiple would be 6. Now if you happen to use 12 or 18 or something else that all of them divide into, it will work. Your numbers will just be bigger. So to use the least common multiple is the easiest one. I'm going to multiply everything times 6 so that I can then eliminate my fractions. Now of course we don't have a fraction on the first one. 6 times 7y is just 42y. Minus 3 goes into 6 2 times 4, so minus 8 there, equals 2 goes into 6 3 times 5y, so 15y, and 6 goes into 6 1 times minus 7, minus 7. So if we're going to solve this, I'm going to go ahead and subtract my 15y and add my 8 to move that over to the other side. So 42 minus 15 is going to give me 27y equals 1 then. And then if I divide by my 27, y equals 127. Number 3, same kind of thing. I'm solving that for you. My common denominator in this case, since I have 5's and 3's, would be 15. So I'm going to multiply each term by 15, sneak my 15's in there. So I have to start out by doing 15 times 5, which gives me 75, I don't know what I'm writing, 75u. And then canceling. 5 goes into 15, 3 times my 1 would be 3. 5 goes into 15, 3 times my 2u would be 6u. 3 goes into 15, 5 times 4, going to give me 20. I want to go ahead and solve that, so I'm going to subtract my 6u and subtract my 3. So 69u is going to equal 17, and then of course dividing u equals 17 over 69. And I don't think I can reduce that down. I'm going to double check, but just to be sure. And here I'm checking with my calculator. If I put in 17 over 69, it still gives me 17 over 69, so I know I can't reduce it. So that's going to be my answer.